Hey folks, this is Real Honesty with John Ritland. I'm John Ritland. This is a review of The Snowman spoilers. Obviously, if you didn't see the title, I'm telling you right now, spoilers. What the hell was Val Kilmer doing in this movie? Why was he just suddenly, drinking like crazy? Granted, I think that's probably what he did heavily through most of the movie. But it was a weird role. It's like he had this weird, mullet, like skullet almost. He went up on like a lift up to the mountains to see where this body was, shot a gun off, scared the seagulls off from this body, and then the next scene he's in, he's drinking again, upset, he's on the phone, upset, drinks, leaves through an office window and is like flipping off everybody in the office or wherever, or as part of his department as he leaves. I don't understand what the hell he was doing in there. I don't think anybody understood what he was doing in there. He probably didn't understand what he was doing in there. Now, it is from the director of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and Let the Right One In. Thomas Alfredson. I might have gotten that name wrong. I apologize. Let the Right One In was a really, really good movie. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy is a good one to see at least once. Just once. And apparently Martin Scorsese was rumored to be a director, but dropped out and decided to stay on as executive producer. Even Ridley Scott was rumored to possibly be directing it. I'm not going to fault the director here. I'm not even going to fault the writers, because they were trying to turn this book that it was like the story, based on a story by this one novelist from Sweden, and this is in a series of books about this particular guy. Americanized, the name is pronounced Harry Hole. Now it's more like Hole, or Holy. That's like as far as how it would be said in Sweden. And I had to take a look at some facts about this to make sure I was a little bit informed. Michael Fassbender's in it, and he's a good actor. I don't know what anybody was doing in this movie. This is just a depressingly bleak, missed opportunity of a movie. From the trailer, sorry again, spoilers, just saying, but from the trailer, before I get to spoiler territory, guys killing people and sticking snowman heads on their body. Okay, cool. That sounds like a premise for a goofy, movie, crime thriller with a couple credible actors in it, so maybe there's a chance something good could happen. But everything's just all over the place. Now, apparently, according to stuff I've read, and it's no secret for anybody who's read about this stuff, up to 15% of the script may have not been filmed because production was rushed. They washed the stuff. They washed away any Norway stuff. It took place in Oslo and surrounding areas. But no one really spoke Norwegian, or at least nobody that was subtitled. I think a couple women did at one point, like for a little bit, but it wasn't subtitled. We didn't know what they were saying. It was just this weird, bleak, depressing movie. It had some really good picturesque backgrounds and everything, and the locations were beautiful. Not much I'll say. And there was one particular actress, Rebecca Ferguson. She played the main detective girl, Katrine, and she was beautiful. She looked really good. J.K. Simmons was in it, and it was weird because his character didn't seem to have anything to do with the movie. They tried to make it seem like, it could be anybody that was the killer. But it was pretty obvious. It's like, I threw a couple names out there, but I was like, my friend ended up, figuring it out fully before I did, and that was mainly because I just didn't care. I just honestly didn't care. It was the character of Matthias, or Matthias, or however the heck you want to say. It's played by Jonas Carlson, who I'm not too familiar with, but he's been in a lot of Swedish movies. And whatever, Swedish, Norwegian movies. Cool. I don't want to fault anybody in the movie, but I'm sorry. This just was. There's the plot of Michael Fassbender's character Harry having a kid who's not his son, but he's really attached to, a girlfriend who, they broke up, but they're still close. Because I guess Oslo is a really small, a small, closely knit community. Again, I'm not necessarily familiar with, Norway, so I'm sorry, I don't know how close knit stuff is over there. But there's that. But it's just so obvious who the killer is, and the motives are silly. And there's no explanation for the cutting the heads off and putting the snowmen on there. Everybody's just the people that are getting killed. It's just a lot of the violence actually happens off camera. There's some that happens on camera, but for being something that's rated R, I mean, I get that it's rated R and it should be, don't get me wrong, but they made it seem like it was going to be a much more vile, much more visceral movie. And I'm sorry, I just wasn't horrified by any of this violence. I just wasn't. It's not the worst movie of the year. That's still Mother. I mean, sorry, Mother is the worst movie of the year. As bad as Friend Request was, I think Friend Request, and I did a review of that, and I did a review of Mother. As bad as Friend Request was, Friend Request also, I believe, was filmed like a year or two ago. So actually, technically, it shouldn't even count as worst movie of this year. The reason Mother was the worst movie of the year, and I'm going to go off on a bit of a tangent, the reason Mother was the worst movie of the year, so far at least, is because it aspired to be something grand, or it aspired to be this deep thinking movie, and it really was such a simple story, and such a bland story, and a stupid story. And I'm going to say that. It's like, I mean, I would go so far as to say I hated Mother. Now, did I love the Snowman? No, I kind of hated the Snowman. I kind of hate it because I saw a missed opportunity, like a lot of missed opportunities. Again, why was Val Kilmer's character there? You could have cut this down. You could have streamlined this a bit. Cut his character completely out. And done something where everything was a little more connected, and it would have been a lot better. Now, maybe the book was a lot better. It's very possible. But this movie did not do a good service for the book. It did make me want to read the books. And it's not the fault of the author of the books. I don't know how much consulting he had on this movie. But what was presented, whether a bunch of the script was, some of the script was cut out, whether it was a rush production, whatever, being presented with this, it was bleak, it was depressing. I'm not saying it was supposed to be like a happy, jovial movie, but just so many unanswered things, like why was this guy, spraying for mold and stuff like that in his apartment? Why was Harry always sleeping out, in parks and sleeping out drunk? Is it, why did this woman still love him despite the fact that he just was clearly so far gone? Why in the world did the detective girl go into this hotel room or this complex knowing that she was probably going to die? I mean, what in the world was going on here? Why are we supposed to care? How in the world was Harry supposed to figure this out despite the fact that he was probably intoxicated most of the time? Who knows? Honestly, the books are probably better. This was just really bleak, depressing, pretty damn bad. Again, picture, the beautiful backgrounds, and Oslo looks like a beautiful place to visit. It really does. I might actually have to consider sometime in my life visiting Norway, because it really does look like a beautiful country. But this movie is just really, really bad. It was really bad. The story was just bland. The explanations were so simple, and it's like, but just every way, it just was so stupid. Everything is like, you're just watching it and you're just like, this is really, really bad. Now, if any of you people watching liked it, great. That's okay. I mean, I don't get it, but whatever. Movies affect people differently. But this was just really, really, this was bad. This was really, really bad. And I mean, I came down a little hard on Happy Death Day, another review I did last week. But at least with that, it was silly, but it worked. Because it was just a silly movie. I mean, the killer was very obvious. In this one, you're trying to present it as so serious and so whatever, and it just doesn't work. You don't care. The movie limps and limps and limps along. It's like a drunk trying to get to the bathroom before he pukes and shits himself. Unfortunately, he pukes all over himself and shits all over himself well before he gets to the bathroom, and then passes out. And that's what this movie does. The movie just passes out and doesn't wake up for a good while. And even in the conclusion, you just didn't care. You didn't have any sympathy for any of the characters, and that's another thing. You didn't care who lived or who died. And so many things are left unsolved. I mean, maybe if this is based on a series of, maybe this is going to, be a continuation, which I can't imagine. This movie's going to be very successful, except maybe in Norway, and I don't know, because I don't know how much clout this guy's books have. I mean, Swedish, Norwegian, I probably screwed that up, but okay. If the guy's novels are really, really popular, then great. Hopefully this succeeds. Hopefully people can find better films after this, because I'm sorry, this was really bleak, really depressing, and really bad. So anyway, that's what I gotta say. Agree, disagree with what I said. Do you think the spoilers went too far? Well, that's why I put spoilers in the title. And if you're watching to this point, you know why. But anyway, it was the whole point. He was killing women and killing people because he lost his mother, and his potential father may have been a cop, an old, grizzled, disgusting cop. Anyway, like, share, comment, subscribe. Twitter link in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin. The Snowman was awful. Mother was worse. I'll see you soon.